The night was damp and restless, with rain dripping steadily against broken rooftops. A small pawn shop sat at the corner of a deserted street, its neon sign flickering weakly like a dying heartbeat. Inside, shelves groaned beneath forgotten trinkets, old clocks and dusty jewelry that hadn't seen a buyer in years. Among the piles lay a peculiar box, black, wooden, and engraved with strange markings. No price tag, no label, just silence. Ethan, a restless drifter desperate for quick cash, spotted it while lurking outside. He waited until the owner turned the lights out and locked up. Hours later, when the streets were empty, he forced the back door open. His eyes darted across the room, ignoring most of the junk until they locked onto that strange box. Something about it pulled at him, an instinct, an itch he couldn't explain. He snatched it, shoved it into his backpack, and vanished into the night. Back in his tiny apartment, Ethan dropped the box on the table. It was heavier than it looked. The carvings almost seemed to shift in the dim light, twisting into symbols his mind didn't want to recognize. The box had no hinges or latch, just a lid that slid open with a faint creak. Inside was nothing but a single old coin, dark and weathered. At first glance, it seemed worthless. But when he picked it up, the metal was strangely warm, like it had been waiting for someone's touch. That night, Ethan dreamed of shadows. Not ordinary ones, but shapes that leaned closer, whispering in a language he couldn't understand. When he woke, the coin was no longer on the table. It was on his chest, right above his heart. He laughed nervously, convincing himself he must have moved it in his sleep. But then he noticed something carved faintly into his skin. A circle, the same as the markings on the box. Over the next few days, things grew stranger. The shadows in his apartment seemed longer, darker. He'd hear footsteps in the hall, slow and deliberate, but when he checked, no one was there. Doors creaked open on their own. His reflection in the mirror seemed just a second too slow, as though it weren't his at all. One evening, as thunder rolled across the sky, Ethan decided to sell the coin. He stormed into another pawn shop, shoving it toward the clerk. The man picked it up, studied it for only a moment, then went pale. "Where did you get this?" he whispered, his voice shaking. Ethan smirked, thinking he was about to strike gold, but the clerk pushed it back across the counter. "Take it and leave, now, before it follows you here." That night, Ethan's apartment felt suffocating. The air grew colder, his lights flickered, and every corner seemed to breathe. At 3 a.m., the coin slid off the table on its own, rolling across the floor. It stopped at the closet door. Ethan froze. The door creaked open slowly, and within the darkness, two pale eyes glimmered, unblinking. A figure stepped out, tall and faceless, its hands blackened like ash. It pointed at Ethan's chest. His body convulsed with fear, but the coin lifted itself into the air and pressed back into his palm. The figure leaned closer, its voice like gravel and wind. "What you stole is not yours to keep. It wants you back." Ethan tried to scream, but no sound escaped. The shadows around him rose like waves, swallowing the room whole. By morning, his apartment was empty. No trace of struggle, no Ethan, no belongings. Only the black box resting neatly on the table, closed once again, the coin inside waiting for its next thief. If you enjoyed this terrifying horror short, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true scary stories and nightmares brought to life. Your support helps keep the darkness alive.